Hey there, and here's another technical tutorial where we're going to talk about selective exposure. Here we have an image where the exposure has not totally favored the face and hair of the model. Um, it's quite a sort of low key kind of image, which is fine. But what we really want to be able to do is to just boost these particular areas of the image, notably the face and hair. Now, it used to be possible it's been possible to work on the camera raw for quite a long time in Photoshop, and it used to be the case that you loaded your raw image, it took you into camera raw. You could make global changes to your image, and then it would drop you on into Photoshop. And this was great, but it wasn't terribly flexible, and it wasn't all that usable for making selective changes, which we're probably more inclined to do in another way. There was a way of doing things using smart objects, which was fine, but what we have now is much better, much easier, and much more flexible. And that is the very lovely camera raw filter. So we'll have a look at that in a sec. But first, we just need to create ourselves a copy layer to work on, just in case we need to roll back. And so our goal, once again, is to just enhance exposure on the face and hair of the model in the image. So let's fire up the filter. And here's the familiar camera raw interface, where there's a whole range of things that we can do. But for purposes of this, we're just going to look at exposure. And so I'm going to push the exposure up to, let's see, I don't want to overdo it. I can, of course, roll this back somewhat on the layer when I get back to Photoshop. I'm thinking if I go for 70, hit OK and run the filter. So this has changed the whole image. It's a global change, which I don't want. So what I'm going to do is mask that off completely. Then I can just select my white brush. I'm going to raise my opacity to somewhere around 70. Flow 39, that's okay. And now I can just use my brush to push the enhanced exposure only onto the areas of the image that I want to change, the face and hair. I might decide that I want to push it a little bit further on the eyes, the area around the eyes, possibly on the lips. And I might decide that I also want to, if I reduce opacity, I might just spot some blending moves in just around the area where I've made the change, because I'm always looking to try to blend things in a sensitive way. And so if we snapshot now, and we can go back and have a look at the original, and this is the change we've made. Okay, so if I fold that in now, we're done. Except that I just wanted to emphasize for you that because this is so flexible now, it's really no trouble whatsoever to just drop into the camera raw filter at any point in the edit where you need a camera raw change. So I could, for example, I've done this, and I'm thinking now that I've improved it quite a lot, but I haven't really done enough on the hair. So it's absolutely no trouble at all to just make another copy layer, run up the camera raw filter again, and this time I'm doing another pass with this, and I'm only looking at the hair. And so if I push the exposure up even more, I'm hoping to make the hair look, kind of richer, more vibrant, more shiny. So I'm pushing exposure up quite a lot. I'm also thinking I'm just going to push highlights, whites, and the saturation a bit further as well. And obviously, if I make a bunch of different changes in Camera Raw, they are all tied together on that layer. So depending on how you want to approach, it may suit you to do that. It may be better to put things on separate layers, one step at a time. Sometimes it just depends how much time you've got, doesn't it? But so if I accept that and run the filter, and once again, I don't want that over my whole image. I just want to mask it off. Reset my opacity up to around the 70 mark. It doesn't matter exactly. 72 is fine. And now, once again, I'm going to spot my change into the hair. And so I'm getting this, making the hair a little bit brighter, a little bit richer, a little bit more color. And so I think, for me, that's the main takeaway from this, is that there are obviously lots of other techniques for making selective changes to images, and if anything is the sort of heart of creative editing, it's the ability to make these selective changes, and lots of ways of doing it, but I find increasingly I like to use Camera Raw filter for a lot of things, and I find it very convenient to do that. Okay, so there we are. That's it. And thanks again for watching. I hope you found it useful, and I look forward to talking to you on the next video.